Hey guys, Zachary and the Jolly Raboots here. Oh, sorry. Hey guys, Zachary and the Jolly Raboots here. And today's film for Shellmas 2020. Because, of course, my Spider-Verse review didn't do as well as I expected. I guess I gotta review a movie that's more of a crappy film. Cats. Now, this movie was most known because back in 2019, when it released, this movie was a box office failure. Critics hated it, audiences hated it, and it only made almost $21 million, I think, at the box office. So it's time for me to take a look at this film. Now, this movie is directed by Tom Hooper, who directed the film Les Miserables, which you may know as a very popular musical film. And the film stars the voice talent of James Corden, Idris Elba, and Taylor Swift. Now, what's the plot of Cats? Now, that's one of the problems of the movie. The film doesn't have a plot. Most of the movie is just random dancing and singing sequences that barely have anything to do with the somewhat of a plot that the movie tries to make with this whole competition of trying to be the top jellicle cat or something to try to get reborn into the afterlife. What? But let's get into the somewhat good stuff. The little there is in this movie. But there's only one thing I like about this movie. It's the villain McCavity. Idris Elba doesn't do a bad job, actually, as McCavity. He actually tries the best he could with his performance, and said the best he could with the very crappy script he's given. Now, let's move on to the bad, which there's going to be a lot of. Now, for the bad, let's start off with the thing that this movie is most noticeable for: the crappy visual effects of these cats. These cats in this movie are absolutely terrifying. And the movie, he has other animals in it, like there's a scene with mice, there's a scene with cockroaches, and they look absolutely terrifying as well. The mice, they use kids' faces and pretty much plaster them on a CGI body. And don't get me started on how Taylor Swift's character in the movie has cat boobs. Yeah. She is the only character I think she may be one of the... This is a weird design choice by Tom Hooper, or whoever decided this was a good idea. Now let's get into also the other characters in this film. We have Victoria, played by, let me look at the DVD case real quick, Francesca Howard. And I'll admit, Francesca Howard isn't the worst in this movie, performance-wise. But it's just that the movie, he underdevelops her character, and I don't even know anything about her or her motivation. And because the movie decides to just utilize all of its development on characters who barely have any screen time, like Tum Tum Tugger or whatever his name is. And also, let's talk about Judi Dench as old dude Aratomy. That's literally her name in the movie, by the way. She is absolutely terrifying as a cat. In this movie, I really didn't like Judi Dench's performance in the film. And also her character barely gets any screen time like the rest of the characters in this movie. I mean, she does get a little screen time near the end of the film, but most of the climax of the feature, she's gone. And we also have this movie's other point that it needs to have in there. That Taylor Swift's in this movie. And she barely appears in this movie at all. Like, I kid you not. She is only in one scene in the movie. And let me take a look at this DVD cover for a second. And here again. Look how they have Taylor Swift right there. Right there. There's her name. And there's the main actress's name. You see how this movie is terrible? Also, the story. The movie barely has a story. Once again, like I said, the singing competition is the closest thing that I could get to an actual plot with this movie. This movie is just filled with weak characters, a bland story, a very freaking forgettable characters, terrible CGI, and awful songs that go on forever. I would not recommend this movie. Never watch this movie. Cats gets a 1 out of 10 from me. McCavity may be good in this movie, but I think he didn't save the movie in my eyes. Well, I'll see you again. And next time, as for next week's review, we're going to take a look at a person, or should I say, a creature who lives in a pineapple under the sea. See you later, guys.